So
I'm multitasking too. I'm watching you guys.
there's like everything is just like the studio's a mess. They just like left. I mean, it's not like crazy. They just left like pedal boards laying out and mics that I had plugged in, like unplugged, and like yeah, it's all good though. That's what happens when you share a studio.
Oh.
Still gonna give it like 1 or 2 more minutes, just for the last stragglers to come in.
You got one of those kick practice pads, you know?
Cool.
And so I dug it up out of the garage and brought it into the house. So now I've got this little practice area that if I got some time between meetings or something, I don't have to go out to the garage. I can just literally turn right to the other side of my desk and sit down and do something quick.
Oh shit! I need to type some symbols. Oh man.
That's a good idea, Jay. I just set up a place like that in my basement TV room. Because my studio was too crowded with too many drum sets. So yeah, I put my electric kit so I could watch UFC and stuff. And
Nice.
Ready?
I'm listening to some straight Brazilian. Yeah.
Oh.
This is Tanya Maria. This is that Yatra Ta song.
Yeah, that's real stuff there, baby.
Man, I get deep on some of this stuff, man. I love.
A couple of friends of mine played with her.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, percussionist Ron Powell and bass player John Pena.
Okay.
Toured with Tony Maria back in the day.
That's dope.
Also check out some Sergio Mendez.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, Ron played with Sergio too.
James East played with him for a long time too.
Yeah, that's right. James he lives in
Fallbrook. Yeah, Fallbrook.
Yeah, I've worked with him. He's real cool.
He's cool, man. My residency gig was with him, so I was playing with him like 3 times a week, and he's just a cool hang, man. One of the coolest guys.
Yeah,
the coolest guys out there. Just such a nice dude.
Just like his brother Nathan. Nathan the same way, laid back.
Nate came in a couple times and sat in, and like him and his son Noah. His son Noah can play, man.
Yeah.
Piano player.
Yeah, he's good. Okay.
All right.
I have a gig this week, and I'm trying to figure out.
Oh yeah. Welcome back.
It's like starting all over again.
Yeah. All right, guys. So I hope everybody had a great weekend. I was laid up with a migraine yesterday. So my wife decided to get donuts. I haven't eaten sugar or really eaten gluten or sugar in like months. Like I've been like pretty strict on like a Candida diet. And so I was like, yeah, I've been real good. We need to start introducing this back. So I went hard on donuts and laid up in bed with a migraine. So
sugar overload.
Yeah. And I'm still feeling it today. I'm like, it's really weird, but did anybody see this like, I don't want to say it's a controversial, but it's a kind of controversial. It's been spreading like wildfire on the interwebs. This Greg Hutchinson video of him talking about flurries. No one saw this? Are you friends with Greg, Nat?
Yeah.
Amazing jazz drummer. So there's this other younger drummer. I think he's like a Berkeley dude. His name is Nate Smith. Not that Nate Smith. He's the 80-20 drummer.
What's that?
He's just another teacher guy out there, does video lessons and stuff. And he's trying to be like 80-20. The 80-20 principle is another like mindset thing and how we learn and how we get things done. And it's like, you know, it's a whole nother thing that we can talk about another day. But so he's applying that to drumming and he's like trying to be this like real like innovative, cutting edge kind of, I guess, dude. Anyways, so he comes up with a lot of these concepts. He pays a lot of attention to the newer up and coming gospel choppy kind of drummers. And he came out with this video that's like the new what is it? The hot new thing in jazz, and he called it flurries.
Flurries?
Yeah, and he didn't really pay any attention to like real jazz drummers. He like focused on like JD Beck, this other dude, some other gospel dude, and he's like, this is how they do it. And it's like just a take on like a 6-stroke roll, but it's like really fast and choppy kick drum stuff. And dude, Greg like unloaded for like 45 minutes. He was just like, this is like complete crap. He's like, anybody wanted, like it was crazy. It was like, you should go. I'll post it in the chat. It's like, it has some choice language, but it is, it's crazy, man. And he, like a lot of the stuff that he says, he's 100% correct. I think I've been saying this for years. He's saying that a lot of you, he's like, all you drummers out there, you younger cats, you all sound the same. He's like, stop copying each other. You're all copying each other. You see each other do this lick and then you do that lick. And it's like, and he's like, nobody's ever talked about no flurries. You don't need no flurries for playing jazz. And he's like, have you ever heard Brian Blade talk about flurries? Have you ever heard he's like talking about all these other drummers. And he's like, have you ever heard this drummer talk about flurries? He's like, that's BS, man. He went in.
He must have really pushed a button on Greg for Greg to go off like that. Because Greg is laid back cat, nice.
He's like, I'm about to be real controversial right now. He's like, I'm about to roll a cigarette and I'm about to be real controversial right now with you. And he unloaded for like at least 30 minutes. He unloaded.
Wow.
And so
how old is Greg?
He's in his 50s.
You know, I don't. So I'm only knowing anything about this from what you're saying right now. I have no background on it. So just hearing it just sounds like the old school versus the new school, the classic. You know that will always exist. And I'm not taking anyone's side. I'm sure his case is so strong and solid.
So that's why I brought this up, is because there is that it's an interesting subject. This is something that we'll probably bring up on the podcast, but it's an interesting subject when you have you know, that. So what Greg is saying is something that I've been screaming into a microphone for years. He started getting on the industry. He was like, a lot of you drum companies, you're to blame for this because this is what you're after. He's like, these guys aren't playing music. They're not playing. They're just copying each other and trying to do the quickest, fastest thing. He's like, and he's talking about all these fast chops and stuff. And Greg has, if you've ever seen Greg play, he's got hands, like he's got speed. He's got all that. He's like, but you know, he's like, when I get upset is when you guys are taking this music and you're trying to change it. And he's like, and this is jazz. He's like, you ain't coming in here doing that. And so, but on the other end of the spectrum. So basically I agree with what he's saying, but on the other end of the spectrum, he came at it in a real, like, super aggressive, his ego started getting in the way, and he started talking like, I'll come over there. I'm out of the country, but I'll come to New York and I'll show you. We could take it to the bandstand. He's like, don't make me have to come out there and show you how to play drums. and like saying all this stuff. Is like a very much I'm better than you, I'm better than everybody, and like you guys don't know what you're talking about, which is a very old school mentality. Because yeah.
I was gonna say, just kind of like Brian was saying, the coolest line I ever heard on this, I was at a Social D show, and it was cool because there's like this 11-year-old kid there, his hair all mohawked up and everything his dad had brought him. So Mike Ness pulls him up onto stage, and Mike Ness says, he goes, "New school, respect the old school, because without them we wouldn't have the music. Old school, respect the new school, because without it the music dies."
Exactly.
So ever since that moment,
that's profound.
That's kind of my philosophy. So
right, and so that's the thing is like where I felt like where I was like, man, this is actually stressing me out, like because I've had these rants about the music industry and about how younger drummers are taking this to another level, but they're missing a lot of the like literacy of or they're missing a lot of fundamentals, they're missing a lot of that kind of stuff. Anyways, the other end of the spectrum is the 80/20 drummer, Nate Smith, got like completely bombarded with this thing. And what I feel like everybody should take into consideration is, yes, music does progress, drummers do progress. He's doing something, just because you don't agree with it, he's still doing something relevant. It's still a cool lick. And I think that he made a mistake by saying this is the new hot thing in jazz, basically putting himself in that position as the authority. Just because you teach on YouTube doesn't make you that person. No. But so it's an interesting dynamic where it's like, man, what I'm all about, uniting the drum community. I feel like that dude Greg put a big division on, like, no, we're still here and I'll come out here, I'll show you how to play. It's like, that, get out of here with that. That's just as whack as like what this dude is doing to jazz. But he was mad, right?
But that division is going to always be there. It's
true. And that's the thing that sucks, but that's where I feel like what we're doing here is different from that kind of nonsense. And that's a big kind of thing with the industry where, there's a lot of that with the companies outdoing each other, backstabbing each other, all of that stuff.
That division is in music, period, because you've got the jazz purists versus the fusion guys, but then you've got classical people versus everybody else.
Right.
Because they have their nose up at jazz because they can't or they don't understand improvisation.
Well, if you're putting out a video like that, you have to expect some things. If you're doing, like I was saying 2 weeks ago, or how do you know you're doing something right when the haters are bombarding you with telling you that you're doing it wrong, or somebody's telling you you're doing it wrong. And so I feel like, man, you're going to put out a controversial thing, even though in his mind it wasn't controversial. It's just like a new concept on jazz. Hey, here's a hot new thing in jazz. Well, I see a lot of young jazz drummers playing this, so I'm going to put a video on what they're doing. And then an old school jazz guy's like, bro, and so it's
crazy. I'm going to be judgmental, not trying to be in a negative way, but I guess judgments typically seem negative. But like that seems like the anti-jazz to try to say like this is.
That popped into my mind too.
But that's where you're going with the jazz purist versus like everybody else that plays jazz.
So jazz has only existed for like 100 years, right? Like roughly since the 1920s, maybe teens. Like what's jazz in 2120 going to sound like? Like, I mean, who knows? Like jazz is always going to change.
I mean,
that's the beauty of jazz. It evolves.
But right. Okay, so one of the most respected jazz like musicians right now is Robert Glasper, right? They've kind of, or Jacob Collier. They've like passed the torch to him as like those two dudes are like Herbie Hancock has been like Jacob is dope now.
Like and traditional.
Well, like, they've taken jazz to they obviously both can play traditional jazz.
But that's just it right there. Is it traditional jazz or is it? You see what I'm saying? Because that's where the divide happens. Is the jazz purist which is the traditional old school stuff versus the new school stuff.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, Robert Glasper and all his musicians can play straight ahead, traditional jazz. But they've taken jazz to progress. And now I feel like this is my own opinion, this isn't a fact, but I feel like Robert Glasper is like our generation's Herbie Hancock. You know what I mean? And so, anyways, but that, like, Greg was like completely respectful of him, of Chris Dave, of those kind of drummers that have taken something. But he's talking to all the drummers that see Chris Dave play, and then they're like, okay, I'm gonna have a drum set of snares, and I'll play that drunk beat thing, and all that stuff.
But that's what they do. They all listen to each other in that little group, and they all come out sounding the same.
I gotta send you guys. I'm gonna post this in the chat. Anybody who's in there that's offended by language, don't watch it. But it's it's pretty colorful, man. And he's like, I don't care about gospel chops. He's like, he's just going in, dude. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I can't imagine this discussion happening relative to any other genre, like hip hop drumming or metal drumming or funk. Like, I think jazz is just kind of like almost pretentious about like what is jazz, but it's like what is jazz? I don't know. Like, it's jazz.
I think it's definitely bias. Like I said, a musician like Robert Glasper, they're like, he's great, even though he's done some things in jazz that is like, that's not really, that's more hip hop than jazz. Even though hip hop, like some will argue, hip hop is like a different generation's jazz, and it's just, dude, it's complicated. But I agree with both sides. That's what's crazy. This is why it's a good subject, because I'm like, I agree with Greg 100%. I have been literally, somebody sent me this video, like, this dude is saying what you've been saying for years. I just haven't been saying it in that way, and I've been saying it in particular to the drum companies, that they're the ones that are creating this copycat mentality, and they're the ones that are creating this. We only want the gospel chop guys. That they're the ones that are, I won't get on that soapbox.
Hey, but Corey, what's ironic to me or just funny? The only other community I've ever run into where there's this like group of hardcore purists that say it can be only one thing is hardcore punk.
Yeah,
there are so many tight definitions of what is and isn't allowed to be hardcore punk. Dude, it's hysterical.
You should have been in the
jazz. I mean, it's so, and some guys get like so worked up about it. It's like,
you should have been in the ska scene in the 90s, man. It was.
I remember.
If your pants weren't a certain height, or your tie wasn't skinny enough, or whatever, it's like. You weren't. It's the same. But anyway,
in my town back in the day, the stupidity was your Doc Martin laces and what color.
Oh
they
yeah,
were.
That was at my town.
What group you were in? You wore a different color Doc Martin lace.
Exactly. Anyways, go ahead, Nat.
No, I'm just saying warm up time.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'll post it in the chat. You guys can check it out, and then we can continue this discussion.
We could talk. We could talk for 2 or 3, 4 or 5 hours about
this. It's an interesting subject, man. It's pretty funny. It's funny that our community is like this.
Well, it goes even deeper too in the music industry, where the music has to have a label on it. It has to be either rock or R&B or this or that. Why can't music just be music?
Yeah.
And you like it on its own? But no. The industry has to put a label on it.
Yeah.
Just like we do with, that's gospel chops, or that's jazz drumming, or that's this, or that's that. It's music straight across.
I think though that a lot of drummers are becoming outspoken about a lot of different things. Like there's going to be, we'll talk about this in another day, but there seems like there's going to be a big push for something different, like with the NAMM show discussion that we had a couple of weeks ago, and.
Right.
I feel like a lot of drummers are fed up with a lot of different things, and myself included. And it's time that people start changing their attitudes and minds. And especially in the industry.
I just want to appreciate what Jason shared in the chat, in case I forget later on. The thing about playing from the heart, like the guy with the heartbeat thing. Like, we don't have to go deep into that now, but I just really appreciated that article. Like, to me, that's as pure as anything. Like, everybody's
I didn't get a chance to read that because my head
that guy
was
blew me
pounding.
away. I mean, Pitchfork, New York Times, NPR, they all had articles on the dude. So if you get a chance, look at it. He's just an incredible guy.
Yeah, he's from my neck of the woods in Jamaica, actually.
Oh, really? You're Jamaican?
No, Jamaica Queens.
Oh, Jamaica Queens. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. He's from out here. My friend actually was studying with him for he did kung fu, taekwondo, a whole bunch of martial arts also, and incorporated it into his music. So then he had like a following of musicians that would just go there, sax players, jazz guys, like you said, jazz guys, purists. But like after they leave him, they're doing crazy stuff with heartbeats and digital things. So like he one of these old school guys would open up these young cats to like other stuff other than just straight ahead jazz, which is really cool. Now that we're tying it back into what we were talking about earlier.
That's beautiful. I love that. I like when there's a bunch of these subjects that I'm always like, I don't know, talking about like art, using this as an art form, and that's what I'm talking about, and that's where I think Greg is right, where it's like it's not about some stupid thing called flurries, and that's now the new hot thing in jazz. Jazz has always been an art form. It ain't about flurries. What is this fool talking about?
What's a freaking flurry? I don't know what a flurry is.
I don't think Texas drummers will be playing flurries anytime soon.
Flurry is a thing that you get at McDonald's. It's a McFlurry.
Right?
I'll post both videos and then you guys can judge for yourself. Like some of you guys will probably be like, it's dope. Like the flurry's dope. I'll use it. I mean, it's something like that.
Tommy Igo does that. He'll post just random left, right, left, left. Says, watch, as drummers, you guys are gonna have to freaking name this. You're gonna name this, and it's nothing. But people will be like, "Oh, that's a paradiddle flamacue."
Yeah.
So he's just putting down stuff just to prove a point that drummers have to label, like name shit.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
All right, so man, see, I told you this is a controversial subject.
You started it.
I know. All right, let's continue. Let's go. What do you guys want to do? Let's take a vote. We got the Zildjian thing pulled up for our first warm up of the day. We can do a simple one like the 8 and 8 equals 16 kind of thing. We can do the double beat, which we've done quite often. I like that one. Stick control. We haven't done the Paradiddle Doodle one. Right, left, right, left. Let's do that one. That one's hard. I'm gonna flub my way through it, but let's try it. So number 5, and we'll read this one all the way down and then repeat opposing hand. Take note of the sticking if you guys can see it. So the first line here is doubles when you go to 16-note triplets. You repeat that. Then that's single strokes, like as your check pattern. And then you have the same check pattern all the way through. Right, left as 8th note triplets. And then doubles again, full measure. So short, short, long, long. And then it goes to your check pattern, and then it's a paradiddle diddle with no accents. Repeat that. Check pattern again, and then long paradiddle diddle. Is that paradiddle diddle? That looks like doubles. Is it doubles? Let's see. No, paradiddle diddle at the end. And then you have accents, all right hand on your check pattern. Dot 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 paradiddle diddle paradiddle diddle dot 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 paradiddle diddle paradiddle diddle. And then you have all right hand long. Dot 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 paradiddle diddle. And then you got a triple 8th note triplet on one hand over here, and then you repeat. Okay, everybody good? Let's get it. This one's weird, kind of weird for me. Let's see how it goes.
Oh, okay.
So here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Paradiddle Doodles. Left, ah. I messed it up. Okay, sorry, I read this wrong. The repeat is only for that last measure. So I was reading this all the way down, and I switched hands up here. That's what was throwing me off. So how do you guys want to do it? Do you want to repeat this whole thing, or do you want to just repeat this last one?
Repeat the whole thing.
I think we should repeat the whole thing, and you should switch hands here. Okay. So when you do that right-handed triplet at the end, that'll set you up for a left-hand lead here. Okay. All right.
Okay, now I have to turn the heat back on.
1, 2, ready, go. Ah. All right. A little rough for me, but how's everybody else feeling on that? Good? All right. All right. Here we go. We gotta sit. By the way, anybody streaming with us, if you guys are watching, you want to join in, grab your practice pad. And if you want to join in actual Chops and Coffee, just use the link on drumbrigade.com, Chops and Coffee page, fill out the form. I'll send you the link. We'll be back on Wednesday. All right, here we go. 2, ready, go. Wait a minute. Okay, sorry. 1, 2, ready, go. Oh my gosh. Dude, that one is so rough this morning. Why? It's so easy. Oh, man. Let's go one more, and then we'll move on. See if I can even do this. All right, here we go. 1, 2, ready. Hey. my gosh. You could tell I haven't worked on that one. I'm good on that one. All right, let's move on. Let's do some kick drum exercises. So we have one from me, one from Justin. These aren't gonna like break your what am I trying to say? Well, let's judge after. So Justin's we can use as a chop. Any of these can be a chop. And then mine are just beats that you can do with just similar kick drum exercises. So these are 16th notes, and they're just permutating over one. So we can repeat. Let's repeat each measure 4 times and then move on. Okay. 1 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 and a, and then 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4. Oh, sorry, 1 E and a 1 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. Keep going to 4 count. You know I'm gonna mess this up. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a. Should we just do one measure each, or should we repeat 4 times?
I recommend repeating it just because you really get it, the second and third time.
Yeah. Okay. All right, everyone out there, we're gonna get this perfect the first time. There we go.
Yeah. Right.
Here we go.
Yeah, we're gonna nail this, right?
You gotta tell yourself what you want to hear. You gotta, well, you know what I'm saying. Dude. Oh my gosh. So, let's get some 16ths here. Let's turn this down. All right. Remember, it's hold on. There we go. It's in 2-2, not 4-4. I mean, it's in 2-4, not 2-2, not 4-4. 1, 2, ready, go. Next. I think that's right. I don't know if I'm doing it 4 times now. That's 6, I think. Moving on. 2, 1, 2. Sorry if I messed anybody up. So I was doing that one wrong. Now I'm on 9. I'm on 9. Are you guys ready to go from 9? This one's hard. Let me figure this one out. That's cool. That'll be a good chop right there. Number 9. Ready, go. Number 10. Oh, what's number 10? Let's see. Oh. So. That's a great one. I like that. So Ah.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, and the last one. Oops. Oh my gosh. That one's hard. Yeah. Ah. Oh. That one's weird. Wait a minute. Here.
Okay, on the last one,
Yeah.
does it feel like the downbeat has moved over?
Yes, that's what's throwing me off.
Yeah.
Are you hitting the last snare with your left hand?
So I do this. Sorry, I alternate my hands based on whether or not the right hand's on the 8th note and the left hand's on the 16th note. So, for instance, on that last one, it starts off with the right hand, and then you come back in with right, left, and then the last set will be left hand, so you can repeat starting back again on the right hand.
Okay. So.
Yeah, I see it.
Your hand sticking stays the same. It just plays or doesn't. Or you could just alternate and then you're flip flopping. But
yeah, I kind of call that like the alternating rule. Basically, if you're gonna hand, you just have
2 E, 1 E, 1 E, 1 E, and a 2 E and a 1. I'm doing the sticking wrong. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E.
There it
And oh my god.
it's cool.
That is
the second group of 16th. You're playing a 8th, a left-handed double stroke 8th note out around the kick, which is kind of neat.
right.
which one?
Yeah, I see what you're saying on that, Justin. It works. Where
It's a lot of fun once you get comfortable with it. Yeah.
These are really cool. I'm probably going to use these all day today with a lot of my students, because you could build like some really cool stuff out of these, some cool beats and some cool like chop stuff. Like a lot of these, especially these single, like this one, and this one. These 3 are really cool for chop stuff.
Yeah, I really like 11, that one in the bottom on the middle.
This one?
Yeah, that was super.
Yeah, that one's cool. Let's see.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good one.
This would be rad with double kick and keeping the alternating principle.
I was thinking the same thing.
This is what flurries are right here.
Exactly. Greg is watching this and just freaking out over here. Like, what is this? This is crap, man. This is stupid. All right, cool. So I have another one, but I think we should just use that one on Monday. I mean, on Wednesday. We can mess with these all day long. And what about this? I like I think that's my favorite one.
Which one is that?
That's wait, maybe I'm reading. Oh no, that's number 9. Is it?
10?
Yeah, 9, I think.
I think that's a pattern that's not even in there.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah, I'm playing it. I went to what I was feeling. Sorry, that's the one I was thinking of. I use that one in a different way though. I start with what did I just do? 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a. Okay, so that would be this one without this and kick though.
Yeah, I might steal that pattern and write it in there.
Well, it's similar to this one, I think.
Yeah.
Now I can't feel it. went back to it. I love that, man. That's so cool.
Can you keep the cowbell on your right hand and play the left hand on the hi-hat with that, what you just did? I figured you could do it. I just like the sound of hi-hat and cowbell. I didn't think you couldn't do it.
So I mean, I really don't care what you're doing. I just like
I'm here for my own auditory pleasure. So.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. All right, so nicely done, guys. That's cool. Thanks for writing that out, Justin, man. That's really cool. Let's keep that in the rotation.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then that's already in the chat, so everyone can and then I can upload this to the I can upload it to the Google Doc if you guys want, those of you guys who aren't on the chat. And so yeah, good stuff. You guys been watching the Britney Spears thing? Or it's one episode? It's good, man. It's good. It's only one episode, but it's like this New York Times doc on Hulu. And the first episode's like 2 hours of it's all about Britney Spears. I feel bad for her. Bro, it's good. I'm telling you. It's like as good as like, okay, like at the beginning of quarantine, it was like the Tiger King thing. And then it was like the R. Kelly thing. And then it was the Michael Jordan documentary. And now this Britney Spears one is like, oh man, this. Oh no. Then it was like Fire Festival too. Was like, that's a good documentary, man. Both of them, the one on Netflix and the one on Hulu. And then this Britney Spears one is kind of like that, where it's like, oh man.
Saturday Night Live did a hysterical skit on this past Saturday about, like she was like a talk show host.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Come on and do apologies, and it was one of the female cast members dressed up like Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
Really awesome.
Yeah, man. That was pretty good. I'm a sucker for those kind of like documentaries that are like the Fire Festival. There's none of them are as
do it, man. Don't do it.
It's great, man.
Don't do it.
I've seen a great documentary. Have you guys seen the Ginger Baker documentary called The Fabulous Mr. Baker?
No. That sounds
It's insane.
Really?
It's as good a documentary as I've seen. Yeah.
John, the Revolution guy, he's taken some lessons from Kofi Baker, I guess Ginger Baker's son.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
If you want some great old school music documentaries, look for anything by a guy named D.A. Pennebaker, Pennebaker, or the Mails Brothers, Maisles. The Mails Brothers were the ones that shot Gimme Shelter, which was where they actually caught a guy getting killed on camera at like the 67 Altamont Festival. And it was like the same thing as Fire. It was supposed to be held in San Francisco, and at the last minute it got canned, so they had to take it out to the Altamont Speedway. And the whole thing was just a train wreck. So the film's about like everything that went down as much as it is the festival itself. And you got Hell's Angels and all sorts of crazy shit. So
wow.
Yeah, it's called Gimme Shelter because it focuses on the Rolling Stones performance.
Yeah.
That's when the stabbing happened, was while they were on stage performing. So it's a crazy movie. It's called Gimme Shelter. No, that's the Mails Brothers. And then
Nice.
Baker did, I think he did the Bob Dylan, the No Way Home or whatever it was. So.
Yeah. Dude, that the R. Kelly documentary is insane. That's a series. It's insane. It's insane, dude. If you haven't seen it, it's oh my gosh. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but it's crazy. I got glued to that, and Tiger King, of course, was at the beginning, and everybody saw that.
No, not me.
You don't know what you're missing, Matt.
No, that's okay. No.
Tiger King's just it's just crazy.
I like documentaries a lot. It's my preferred genre, but I really like watching Larnell Lewis learn songs after hearing it once.
I didn't get to see that either, man. I'm telling you, my brain.
I said too busy watching documentaries.
Larnell's amazing, man. Did you see his Zildjian live performance?
I might have. I've seen a lot of his videos.
Insane, man. Insane. He does this like hi-hat thing where he's like something like that. Jeffrey knows what I'm talking about. I was like that. I was like, what? Oh my god! It's like crazy. That one and Girgo Borlai's Zildjian performance was like I was like yelling at the TV, like no, like a football game or something. Insane. I see some stuff in the chat those
are the links to the filmmakers I was talking about. Penny Baker,
Okay.
you can find it. He did a documentary at the 67 Pop Festival that's really good. And then he did a whole separate, like, little 20-minute mini documentary on Jimi Hendrix's set. And that's the set where he sets the guitar on fire. It's a set where he just like broke out in America. And the cool story is him and the Who were arguing about who had to follow the other. And it came down to a coin flip and he lost. So he said, well, if I have to go out right after you, I'm going to make everybody forget you.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's cool. So Jeffrey, I was interested to hear your take on this thing. You seem like you get deep on some hip hop, and so you're from New York and some jazz, and you got some crazy stuff that you're working on with like crazy polyrhythmic stuff and all that stuff. What did you see that Flurry video that I was talking about?
So I follow Greg a lot. I like his stuff a lot, man. He's a really cool cat. I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen some of his stuff. He goes on these I don't want to call them rants, but it's like he goes off on these things where he's very passionate about what he's talking about. He's very convicted in his stuff, which is really cool. But it can rub a lot of people different ways. But I haven't seen it yet. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I had that, man. Like where I just don't care what people think, and like I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, you know. But like, man, it's. I didn't see a lot. The thing is, when you come on that strong, there was some people that were like, man, you just sound old, man. You need to like, you know. But then there was like, for the most part, everybody was listening when he was talking, and it's not like he doesn't have the credentials, you know, to talk like that.
He definitely does.
Yeah, but it's like, I felt bad for the other guy too, the 80/20 drummer, because I'm like, dude, I understand what goes into making a video like that and trying to come up with some new concept as a curriculum as your basis for your video. A lot goes into that. And then for some guy, like a famous drummer, to come out and be like, this is stupid, you know, it's like, bro, like.
Yeah, but I think Nate, the 80/20 drummer, like even though he probably saw it, he's probably like more jazz that Greg even mentioned him, because like he's one of his heroes actually. So, really? But he also understands, like, because he talks a lot about he knows he nerds out too much sometimes into these things. Okay, but that's like his thing. He likes nerding out and deep, like, you know, deep diving into these minute fingerings and stuff like that. So he knows he's like gonna rub people the wrong way.
He just put out a video. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Yeah. Like you say, he puts out videos of top jazz drummers, and Greg is on his like top fives all the time.
Wow. He always talks about he put out a video is something about competition, and that got my attention because I'm like so big on like camaraderie over competition. I hate the idea, even though music is, you know, there is competition in music, but healthy. Yeah. He's talking about shedding, and like we host sheds and stuff like that. Yeah. But he's just also
a YouTuber.
Yeah, he's just a YouTuber, and he's it's hard.
The algorithm, you have to, like you said, your marketing, you have to be controversial. You have to have these clickbaity, what are those things called? Those little like thumbnails. You have to like,
right. And the thing is, like, if you're just gonna post stuff that people like all the time, I mean, it caught Greg's attention for a reason, you know, and that's the whole point. If people aren't, whether they're talking good or bad, it still is going to equate to clicks. How many people saw Greg's rant and then clicked on Nate's video? Yeah. And I did. I was like, I got to go back and watch this video, So that's kind of the thing, man. You got to kind of be controversial if you're making art,
And America as a society likes controversy. So
yeah.
And just check out Jerry Springer.
Just check out the last 4 years with our previous president.
Seriously, Jerry Springer. He was controversial, right? He had people fighting. Everybody tuned in. His ratings were through the roof. He decided to change his format, get away from that. And when he did, his ratings plummeted.
Yeah.
And the network was like, hey, your ratings are in a tank. You got to do something. So he went back to what he was doing, and his ratings went back through the roof. I mean,
gotta give us what we want. That's what we want.
He was mayor of Cincinnati first, where I grew up. Real popular mayor, did well. He was running for re-election, and he paid a prostitute with a personal check, and it bounced. And that's how it came out, and he lost the race, and he was gone for a couple of years. Nobody heard from him. Then he popped back up again with the show. And my one of my friends from high school, his aunt owned the big limousine company in town. So he would drive Jerry Springer guests to the tapings when they first did them. They started off in Cincinnati, and then they moved them once he got popular. But at any rate, so my buddy Doug would tell us all these crazy stories about just these lunatics that would get in the back of his limo and what they were like. But yeah,
Yep.
that was Jerry Springer's downfall as a politician.
Wow. Health check to a prostitute.
See, that's the risks we need to take as drummers. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right.
I'm only joking. All right. Anyways,
Sure
yes.
you are.
I hope you guys enjoyed today's Chops and Coffee. Everyone streaming with us, I hope you guys enjoyed it too. So we'll chat more about this. I'll post all this stuff in the chat and on Instagram. And then I hope you guys were able to use that discount code, not mentioning it because we were on live, but everybody saw that, I hope. And then if not, we'll be back on Wednesday with more Chops and Coffee, hanging out with talking about more controversial subjects and trying to find some morning motivation in that.
Right.
Anyways, thanks again, Justin, for that cool warm up, and then we'll work on it on our own. So
Yeah, thanks for using it. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a great week, and thank you guys for showing up, and we'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Right.
Later.
See ya.